Hello! I am sitting on the floor today. I'm trying something new for today's video. You might be asking, where on earth am I? This is a new filming location. I am not in my bedroom back home in West Virginia, and I'm not in my Fordham dorm because I'm in my first ever New York City apartment. I just recently moved in. I'm very excited. I'm not going to be showing much of my room today, but if you want to see my room and like a tiny apartment tour, it'll be in my vlog that's coming out soon. I'll show you more about that there because today's video is just about a new book haul. This summer I really locked in and I got almost every single book on a very long TBR read. So I ran out of books, so that means I had to go shopping for more books. So my TBR was dwindling, which means I had to go book shopping. I didn't have a choice. But I'm very excited about the new books that I've added to my TBR, so I wanted to sit down and show you guys what I got. Obviously I can't talk too much about them because I haven't read them yet, but I will. These will be in monthly wrap-up videos from here on out. But I wanted to sit down and show you what I got and just explain a little blurb of like why I got it and why I'm excited to read it. Okay, I just took them all off so I can get into it and I'll slowly put them back on. The first book I have in this haul is This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. This is a new release book in the month of August, and it's also a debut novel for this author. First I saw this in Barnes & Noble and I thought the cover was absolutely beautiful, so I immediately picked it up and turned it over. And I think the background that this story is set in is like one of the most interesting things that I've picked up this year. It's 1920s, which is an era that I love in history. It's like the flapper era, prohibition. It's a very interesting setup for a fiction book to take place. So we are set in the roaring 20s, but how this book is different is because there are reapers everywhere, which are vampires that were created by government experiments years and years ago. We follow our main character, Elise, who is the daughter of the Saint Empire. The Saint Empire is like her father was able to create these special bullets made of steel that were the only things that were able to defend against these reapers because they're vampires, they regenerate quickly. So because he has access to this specific saint steel, he can make bullets. So he's created this empire off of defending humans from these reapers. What's interesting is we follow Elise, but we also follow a dual POV of Layla Quinn, who is a reaper and was Elise's former best friend. We follow Elise and Layla in modern day, but there's also a lot of callbacks to a incident that happened 5 years ago that completely ruined their friendship, turned them to hate each other, and also turned Layla Quinn into a reaper. We don't really know what happens. I'm a third of the way into the book. I don't know what happened just yet. Best friends to enemies, but then a murder mystery happens where they have to work together to figure out and unravel this mystery. So it's best friends to enemies to reluctant allies, then to lovers. So it's a very interesting concept. It's something I definitely haven't heard of before, so I'm very excited to read more of this book about this far in, so you'll definitely see this in my August wrap-up. Okay, this isn't a new book, but I technically have to show it to explain the next two books. This is The Traitor's Kiss by Erin Beatty. This was my favorite book in like 2022, 2021, or 2022 I want to say. I read it a while ago and then I just never read the second and third in the trilogy, but I absolutely loved this. I gave this 5 stars. It's similar to Mulan and Pride and Prejudice, but also with espionage and royalty and war. Very fun, very YA, very fast-paced. We follow Sage Fowler. She's a woman in this patriarchal system where she really only has value if she gets married off to a man. She decides she doesn't want to get married, so she is the assistant to this woman who prepares other rich women to marry rich men. So she's her assistant, and then she becomes a spy, and then she becomes entangled with something with the war. I can't even give you the synopsis of this book because there's such a good plot twist that happens. The plot twist that happens in this book I have never seen recreated, or I've never seen anything come even close to this. I can't even tell you who her love interest is. That's the craziest part. But I loved the romance in this. I loved the pacing. The plot twist was insane. I loved this book, and so then I finally got the second and third in the trilogy. This is the second book. This is The Traitor's Ruin. And then we have the third and final book, The Traitor's Kingdom. Alright, the air conditioning did just turn on and I am set up right next to the giant AC unit in my apartment. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm just a girl, so I'm sorry if it's annoying, but I'm gonna go on with the video. These covers are so beautiful. I'm obsessed with this book trilogy, just how it looks together. But these two books are going to continue with Sage, and I can't even talk about what's gonna happen in them because I don't want to spoil the first book. But I highly recommend the first book, and I really hope that I like the second and third book. The next book I'm very excited for. I've been waiting to buy it for a while, and it is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. This book is so freaking pretty. It immediately piqued my interest just by looking at it. The front says, "Death waits for no one except for her." The synopsis of this book is intriguing but low-key confusing. It follows a girl in this dark-esque kind of fairy tale world where death is a human form that's her love interest, but the twist is she cannot die. Her name is Signa Farrow. For as long as Signa Farrow has been alive, the people in her life have fallen like stars. Orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being. Each has met an untimely end. It reminds me of like a series of unfortunate events. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorngrove. Oh, I love that. I love that name. An estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties, while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. However, Signa's best chance of uncovering the murder is an alliance with Death himself. A fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. Though he's made her life a living hell, Death shows Signa that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine. She falls in love with Death itself. How can that not be good? I'm so excited. So this is book 1 in the trilogy. I also got book 2, and this one's my favorite cover, I think, so far. The third one, Wisteria, just came out, and whenever I'm done with these two, I'll get that one later eventually, but I don't know if it follows the same girl or not, because these two could be the same girl, but Wisteria is a blonde girl. Maybe she dyes her hair throughout the series, I don't know. Okay, so we still follow Signa. Shut up. So this is the second book. A duke has been murdered, the Lord of Thorngrove has been framed, and Fate, the elusive brother of Death, has taken up residence at a palace nearby. Oh my god, is it a love triangle between this girl, Fate, and Death? Daring, suspenseful, and seductive, this sequel to Death and Signa's story is utterly romantic as it is perfectly deadly. Oh my god. Alright, I am so excited for these two. I'm gonna get to them very soon, but they're gonna go back on the TBR card now. Alright, we're moving on from trilogies and we're moving on to a duology. One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gilling. This is a darker kind of fantasy read is what I've been told. This main character's name is going to annoy me because I'm not going to pronounce it right. Follows our main female character. She's in a world where everyone in her village is falling ill to this like deadly virus or this deadly plague, and in order for her to find the cure, she has to go on some adventure, and it's like a dark magic fantasy, and the magic comes from tarot cards, which is a very interesting concept. Oh, so it's not so much a virus, it's a dark magic infestation. Ooh, and the man that she enlists is the captain of the most dangerous men in the city, and he is guilty of high treason. Up next, we have Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I have made it halfway through Carissa Broadbent's first series, which is a trilogy, Daughter of No Worlds. I'm almost finished with Children of Fallen Gods. I really like her writing. I think her storytelling and the way that she takes her storylines is very different. It's very refreshing. So whenever I saw that this book was not only trending on Book Talk and BookTube, but it was also written by an author that I had already previously experienced, I know that I liked, I really wanted to pick it up. So I only got the first book in this series though. Again, another vampire book. I guess that's the trend of this video. We follow Aurea, the adopted daughter of the Nightborn Vampire King. She has to go through trials to prove herself, I think, but she's a human. So she's a human in a world of vampires. She has to go through this trial held by the goddess of death herself, the Kajari. I don't know a lot about this book, but I kind of want to go in blind, but I'm very excited for this one. Next up, we have Defy Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the 5th book in a 6-book series called Shatter Me. 6 books, 3 novellas. I also bought Find Me, which is the novella that I need to read next in this series. I've read books 1 through 4, plus 1 novella. I need to read this, Find Me, in Kenji's point of view, and then this book, which is book 5. I feel like if you have read the Shatter Me series, you know what this is about. If you haven't read the Shatter Me series, I can't really tell you too much about what's going on in this book without spoiling everything, but I have, yeah, book 5 and the 2nd novella. Very excited to make more progress in the series and then hopefully finish it up maybe this year. Fingers crossed. All right, 2 books left. We're almost there. So there's a lot of fantasy. There's a lot of magic going on here. So I wanted a lighter read. So I got The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. I had already read the first book in this interconnected trilogy. They're technically standalones, but it's a hard trilogy to explain because it doesn't follow the same characters, but it's a very similar theme, so they're kind of interconnected in their own way. The Mysterious Society of Lady Scoundrels is what it was called. I liked that one. It was very much Bridgerton, very much Pride and Prejudice, you know, the Regent era, but also adventures and kind of goofy, just kind of like doesn't take itself too seriously. Known as Agent A, Alice is the top operative within the agency of undercover note-takers, a secret government intelligence group that is fortunately better at espionage than naming itself. See, like that's the theme that stays throughout the whole book, is it kind of like makes fun of itself, and it's just a fun, light-hearted, goofy read. From managing deceptive witches to bored aristocrat ladies, nothing is beyond Alice's capabilities. She has a steely composure and a plan always up her sleeve, alongside a dagger and an embroidered handkerchief. When rumors of an assassination plot begin to circulate, she is immediately assigned to the case, but she is not working alone. Of course she's not. Daniel Bixby, otherwise known as Agent B, Agent A and B, and Alice's greatest rival, is given the most challenging undercover assignment of his life, pretending to be Alice's husband. So it is fake dating, fake marriage. Together they will assume the identity of a married couple, infiltrate a pirate house party, and foil their unpatriotic plans. Determined to remain consummate professionals, Alice and Daniel must ignore the growing attraction between them, especially since acting on it might prove more dangerous than their target. 2 rival spies must brave pirates, witches, and fake matrimony to save the queen. I think this one will be really fun. It's a very short book. Yeah, I've already read the first book in this little like separated trilogy. I'm excited for this one too. This last one I've done little to no research on, but I was very interested in it, and I went into Books A Million, and because I'm a part of the Millionaires Club, I got it 50% off, and it has sprayed edges that are decorated, so I couldn't really say no to it. And that is 5 Broken Blades by Mia Cordlin. Yeah, I've done little to no research on this book, but look at the sprayed edges. It was so pretty, and then I got it 50% off, which like you'd be losing money if you don't buy it. I did in fact read the synopsis in the store, and I did find it interesting. The King of Isan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective: to kill the good King June. He has it coming. Under his merciless immortal land, the nobles flourish, while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery, but these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll all have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know a lot, but it's okay going in blind. I'm very excited by the synopsis, and I like the backdrop already. Very excited for this one. This is the last book in the book haul. Put you back up. Alright. Okay, they are correct. I made sure to take a picture of how I had it set up before I started filming this video, because usually I'm terrible at organizing my books in a like visually pleasing way. It usually looks terrible when I do it, but I really took great care in trying to like meticulously place them in places that I liked. And I really liked the result. I've taken a lot of pictures of them, and I took a picture before I started this video so that I could put it all back the way I wanted it. That is the end of my book haul video. If you saw any of these books and they sounded interesting and you want to know my thoughts on them, you can definitely check them out in my upcoming monthly book wrap-ups. But that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time I post.